This was like in '98 or something. I said, well, I'm not very technical. I'm going to try. And we barely had InfoWars up working well then. And then I called him back. We had put up a lot of it. And he said, I'm not ready to come on yet. This is a few years later. He said, I'm writing the book, though, that's going to blow him out of the water. And he was about to come out with that book when they shot him twice in the head.
Well, they don't have any problem doing these things, as most of your listeners know. You know, the wonderful the transcript of the Reese Committee hearings, the 3,000 pages that we have up on Samuel's website. That's the investigation of the tax-exempt foundations, 1953. And I understand from I think it's Dan Monteith. Well, I found out from Bob Goldsboro. I bought the copy of it from Bob Goldsboro, Robert Goldsboro, but I didn't pay. I paid $3,000 for it. But I understand that Goldsboro was offered any amount of money to get that one copy. This is a foundation. One of the minions said, "We will pay you anything you want," and Goldsboro said, "No." Good for him, right? And then about 15 years later, I knew Goldsboro well. I said, gee, you know, Bob, really? I mean, you're just sitting with that thing. We want to put it up on the Internet. And so he sold it to me for very little, basically, huh? So the point is this, that these people really mean business. I mean, when they're willing to pay anything for 3,000 pages of congressional testimony, because, of course, after the hearings were shut down, they went around the country and bought up all the copies that were in the libraries, huh? So anyway,
well, let's continue with Skull and Bones, one of the key globalist organizations, and what their master plan is. More about your family. Aaron's got some questions as well.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network. Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
You know, a lot of people have gotten killed fighting the globalist. A lot of people that exposed Skull and Bones have ended up dead. Now, the key book that she was given by Robert Goldsboro, he isn't dead, a great patriot, but he won't do interviews. And, of course, he knew Norman Dodd and the Reese Committee. We're going to talk about all that, you know, just the basic facts here with Charlotte Iserbyt. But I want to get into some of the other little quirks or interesting pieces of information that folks might not know about Skull and Bones that she knows just from reading over these documents, but also her father and grandfather. Also what her dad said about Bohemian Grove. Aaron's got some things he wants to say. We're going back to her here in just a moment. First, I want to tell you about some great sponsors. One of them is Diamond Gusset Jeans. They're all made in America, and they've got a lot of amazing specials running right now. These jeans are very comfortable. They look like Levi's, but are much more, better made. And again, I said made here in the U.S. They have motorcycle jeans, other specialty jeans. Once you try them, you won't want to wear anything else. Go. Aaron loves them. He's got a bunch of them. Gusset.com, GUSSET.com/America. And just type in the bundle, T-shirt size, and comments section when ordering in excess of $100 and receive 3 free gifts: T-shirts, a great audio CD that's basically anti-globalist information. Just wonderful, folks. Gusset.com/America or 888-8-GUSSET, 888-8-GUSSET. Check them out today. Also, Stansberry Research with their great free video breaking down dollar devaluation and their prediction that 2011 will be the year that the dollar ceases to be the world reserve currency. The website, again, is End of America, the number 3. Got to go there to find the free video and information. End of America, one word, endofamerica3.com. Stansberry and Associates, investment research, independent investment firm, founded in 1999, with subscribers in more than 100 different nations. They recently created an eye-opening video you can see for free at endofamerica, the number 3.com, to detail their biggest and most important prediction yet. Endofamerica, number 3.com. And finally, I want to tell you about prepared.pro. That's Prepared.pro, prepared.pro. These folks have been in the readiness business for almost 10 years. They're in the business of selling steel-plated peace of mind. They're selling everything you need to be more ready for what's coming down the pike: survival gear, supplies, even steel-plated underground shelters and safe rooms. Tell them Alex Jones sent you. Again, that's www.prepared.pro for professional crisis preparedness assistance. And I believe in all of these sponsors, and when you patronize them, you also support this broadcast. Okay, Charlotte, let's move quick now. You're very gracious to be joining us here. You were getting into what Antony Sutton had discovered, what Skull and Bones is, what their master plan is, how they build up the Muslim enemy that they really secretly control from the top. The low levels don't know it. They create the Nazi threat by funding it. They create the Soviet, which is on record now. They create the fake global warming, which is just made up to sell their takeover. They claim they're fixing education when really they're trying to destroy it. I mean, they are the masters of this Hegelian dialectic. And what is in these documents and what has been discovered is German sciences of brainwashing to, as you know, to create Hessian brainwashed soldiers for sale worldwide. That technology spread through Skull and Bones. I mean, quantify what Skull and Bones is from your deep research and what Sutton discovered. Then Aaron's got some points.
Well, the order, I do believe that it is connected with the Illuminati, and there is some pretty sound research that connects them. It is a German order. There's no question about that. I know that. And it's the elite. Everybody knows a lot of this stuff. The elite, how many families, 200 families or whatever, more perhaps, in the country who have enough money and have been very carefully educated, whether they're Bones or even some other fraternities that are close to Bones. But I think one of the best quotes is very simple. It's right in the book cover on Sutton's book. And the reason I like it is because the guy that they're talking about, E.O. Matheson, who was Skull and Bones 1923, was a friend of my father's. I don't think they were very good friends because my father wasn't deeply involved. But my father knew him and had mentioned him. And this is what is right on the cover of the book. It says, quote, this is from E.O. Matheson, Skull and Bones 1923, to Donald Ogden Stewart, an earlier Skull and Bones year, 1916, about Matheson's, Maddie, they called him, upcoming appearance before the House Committee on Un-American Activities. So this is fascinating. Quote, as long as we have somebody from Bones who can bring pressure on the committee, I should think we'd be all right. Now, that tells you the power of someone from Bones. Now, that's Matheson talking to another Bones character. And I knew Matheson's daughter. She lived in Camden when I was on the local school board going up against all these values-destroying programs. And she was from a very elite lady, and she was the daughter of Matheson. And I went to a Christmas party one evening, and of course everybody was beating up on me then because I supported grammar, things like that, right? And I didn't like values-destroying programs. But she cornered me at this Christmas party and really beat up on me about my opposition to what was going on in the schools. I was on the school board. And I was so upset that I started to cry. Because it was in public that she was doing that. And so I just put my coat on. It was a snowy night. The moon was out and all. And I walked home. And I never forgot that because that was a daughter of an important person in the order. That's the one that I just quoted, huh? So she fell for all the garbage. I didn't. Although my father was never like him. My dad would never have been involved in hearings in Congress and lying and all this stuff. So,
but your dad, as he was dying, did talk about Bohemian Grove and...
Well, my dad, I want to correct you on this, Alex. My dad was not a member of Bohemian Grove. He was invited once.
Sure, okay.
By Edwin Blair, who was a very close friend of his. I think, they were roommates, but very close.
Sure, sorry, I got confused by that. But I mean, to be specific, your dad did say that he didn't like it.
He went because he was invited. He went and spent 10 days or something out there, and he came home, and he said it was very lush, very elegant, very interesting lectures and all, but he would never go back. He said that. I will never go back. So that was dead. Now, I can defend my father. I cannot really defend my grandfather that much, although I loved him, and he was a mining engineer, and he was very prominent, and he was probably one of the top in the world in the late 1890s.
Wasn't Harding a mining engineer too?
What's that?
Harding, President Harding.
I don't know. But
I mean, to be specific here, though, Charlotte, I'm not saying your dad was a bad guy. He was a great guy, obviously, and through his daughter, this information comes to us as well. Going back into memory, I remember you saying that your dad said, basically that he disagreed with it all now and that he didn't like it.
What he said, he really didn't say that. He never got that close to what it all was. He said to me a week before he died, because I was really on my white horse. My horse very dirty now, huh? But I was on my white horse from 1970 to right now, and he knew what I was doing. And he said before he died, Char, if I had more time, I'd help you. And so, yeah, I think that he was a mayor of 3 towns on Long Island and in New Jersey. He was an Episcopalian. He went to church. He was a good Christian, all that. Now, my grandfather was a Mason. My grandfather came from Pennsylvania. He was the one that I do believe, please, Grandpa, forgive me. He's the one who was very close to the Fabians in South Africa. He was out there. He opened up the gold mines in the late 1880s in Johannesburg. And I had a picture of him with Sir A. Bailey. I can't find that picture. I don't know where it is. But anyway, Grandpa...
So that's the Cecil Rhodes connection right there.
Absolutely. So Grandpa really was involved, I think. But on the other hand, he was my grandfather, and he was very dear to me, and I loved him, and he was not a snob. That's very interesting. Grandpa was the last person on earth you'd call a snob, and my father, too. The whole family's always been very, we just sort of get along with everybody, no matter who.
Charlotte, and we're not here to put your family on trial for your dad and grandfather being Skull and Bones members.
No, but I just want to make the point here that they're not all what people think they are. It's really interesting. I mean, I knew my father's best friends. They were all in his wedding. When a Skull and Bones guy gets married, all the ushers are the members of Skull and Bones in that class. And then from that time on, you see them all the time. They were visiting the house. They were my parents' best friends and their wives. Huh? And you never would have known what the basic, what their goals were. There was one who I remember in particular, my sister's father, godfather, huh? And very nice. And he, believe it or not, was the founder of the Hemlock Society,
which pushes suicide.
Did you hear me? Well, yeah. This sort of thing really did surprise me.
Well, let's talk about what it is, because from Sutton's research, the info we've got, it is certainly a death cult, a Germanic death cult, and its mainline books have now been written. Clearly, you've got the Illuminati going on in Germany at the time. It's founded 1832, German money, British money, the Skull and Bone symbol worn on the Nazi caps. Specifically, though, what is the end game goal from what you've researched and what you know? What is Skull and Bones? What are they after?
Well,